And it hasn't sunk in really what you guys were able to do on Monday night yet?
A little bit, yeah. I mean, I think we all kind of realized it right after the game when, everybody was just so, excited and talking about, how they haven't seen anything like that in a while. So it kind of has, yeah.
Hey, Landon, I think you guys have 5 games left. You have a 2-game lead. Obviously, nothing's done yet, but going to Baylor with kind of a cushion, are you guys maybe allowed to play a little bit more freely in your minds and maybe not have that pressure of knowing that you absolutely have to win?
A little bit, yeah, I would say so. I think we do understand that this is a game that we would like to win.
Yeah.
Obviously, with the way the Big 12 is, there's so many good teams that anybody can make a late push, and we don't want to open any doors for that. So, Saturday is a big game for us, and I think we are going down there with a free mind, but also taking it very seriously.
Coach Drew said that Motley actually got more touches in the second half against you guys the first time than he did in the first half, and obviously you held him to 2 points. Remember what worked? What you guys did well?
Just try to make sure that he didn't catch it, in areas that are easy to make quick moves and score. The other thing that we kind of emphasized at halftime was, especially with me trying to do my best to avoid fouls, when he does catch it, maybe outside of the area, the guards helping down and, just digging and just showing that they're around kind of just makes him hesitate enough to discourage some things. So, just being in strong help, playing team defense and making it less of, one-on-one situations is definitely helpful, and I think that we did a very good job with that in the second half.
Not to rank him in the top 5, but is Motley one of the better big guys you've gone against?
I think he is in the fact that he when he does get a one-on-one situation and he makes an initial move, a lot of times I'm able to stop the initial move, but with him he's very good at keeping his pivot foot and finding a way to get a shot off, which is tough. Especially for myself, and if you're trying to avoid fouls and stuff, if there's a guy who can continue to keep his pivot foot or keep a move alive and get to a shot, that's definitely difficult to guard. So I would say he's up there as far as guarding another big one-on-one. He definitely has a lot of stuff he can pull from and get to the basket.
Is that the kind of thing Perry Ellis did well, and playing against him in practice helped with that kind of thing?
Yeah, and Perry was, he had really quick first moves and initial moves. I think with Motley, because of his length and his size, if I'm still there and in good position, he's still able to sometimes get a shot off. So it's a different kind of one-on-one situation. But Perry definitely has helped me with a lot of different defensive things.
What kind of impact has you having to have that awareness of foul trouble had on your game and what you've been able to do? It obviously hasn't killed you too much, but has it changed the way you play or how you can play or anything like that?
It's changed a lot. Not all for the, not all bad things. It definitely has helped me prepare for games where, I might be in early foul trouble, and now I know a little bit better how to play. But just the way I like to play, and especially kind of before the ball is entered, I like to make sure that my man doesn't catch it in good positions and use my body and stuff. And when I have the refs constantly telling me ease up and stuff, that's something that I really have to be aware of, so I don't pick up any cheap fouls. And so I've had to change that, and pick and choose when I go after balls, offensive rebounds and stuff, so I don't pick up any fouls like that, because you're going to get fouls throughout the game. You just got to eliminate any silly ones that don't really do anything for the team.
Yeah, with that kind of pressure on you to have to stay out of foul trouble, you feel like you've done a pretty good job of kind of navigating those waters?
Yeah, I've done okay. I think I can improve in some areas, and I still got to make sure that I keep my mindset to still be physical and stuff, and just be smart about when I am. It's just all a learning process, though, and the fact that it's kind of happened earlier, on in the season, about halfway through, gives me a lot of time before like the tournament to get better at it.
Whether it was guarding the guy inbounding the ball or trapping in the corner, it seemed like you had a lot of influence on that when you guys went to that full court pressure. Do you ever remember being in the middle of this stuff that much before?
Outside of practice, no. I mean, and in practice, we've done it a couple times, maybe 2 or 3 times, where we just all out press like that, just to try it out. And in those few times, I did get on the ball and do that. And I never thought it would happen in the game. And I think even coaches had he tried out the 5 guards at first before. I think Svi fouled out, and then he went to me, and at that point in time, I just asked to be on the ball because that's where I was comfortable at. I felt like I could create some bad passes, and the guys behind the traps did a great job at cutting out those passing lanes and getting some steals.
What do you do? Just get as wide with your arms or trace the ball?
Yeah, you do, and then the key is just to try to make the inbounder throw it to the corner. So discourage as many other passes as possible, get them to throw it, to the corner and then trap that. I mean, West Virginia does a great job at doing that defensively, so, we got a chance to kind of take some notes from them and use it, against them.
How did you become so consistent with with rebounds and double figures? Earlier in the year, you were in kind of a little slump or whatever,
Yeah.
and you were hurt. How did you do it, and how gratifying was your season there?
As you guys know, I take a lot of pride in rebounding, and early on in the season, there's a lot of things that played into it. I think that I was overthinking things and really felt like, what can I change? What can I do? And then I talked to, I think it was my dad, and he was just like, you'll go through slumps as a rebounder, just like maybe a shooter might go through a slump. There might be a slump rebound, and balls might not come your way. Other things might play in the factor with it. And I think that, that's kind of where I was at. And since then, I think the UNLV game helped a lot to have the 12 rebounds and kind of get, confidence going. And then after that, I went to TCU and had 17, and I felt like I was able to, kind of get back on track. And there's still going to be games where the ball doesn't bounce my way. I've had a couple poor rebounding games, but majority of the time I'll be able to, get to double digits.
How often have you gone to your dad for advice on the court stuff, and how often has he helped you out, like you just mentioned?
All the time. I mean, he's gone through it all from every perspective, player, coach. So he understands, what I'm going through, and understands he always has the right things to say, and understands me as a player because he's been following me, my whole life, and knows what I do well and knows how I can help the team. So, I look to him for a lot of things, a lot of advice, and he definitely helped me out along with, my mom and a lot of other people I was close with early on in the season, just to, stick with it.
Landon, have you ever been on a team that's been able to overcome as many double-digit deficits as you guys have this year? And what's causing all that?
I haven't necessarily, and I don't know if it's a good thing that we're getting down, but it's a great thing that we're showing that we can fight back in those situations. And at the end of the day, we want to win, and that's the goal. And we're thinking long-term and using every game as a learning process. I mean, when you come to a school like Kansas, the tournament, obviously Big 12, the league race is important, and it's something we take pride in. But, when you go to a big school, March Madness is really, what you're playing for. And so if we can just learn from these games, and take something from it, that's great. So, it's stressful, and it's not ideally what we would want. I think it'd be nice to, get a couple easy wins, but it's also really good for us to, have these learning processes and show that we can come back from, big deficits.
How do you explain the way this team's been able to tighten its defense in the last 2 minutes of the game on multiple occasions this year?
Yeah, I mean, if we could play that way throughout the whole game, it'd be great. I think it's obviously focus goes up, and just experience, and a lot of guys play a lot of minutes. So guys like Frank and Devontae and all those guards, when you're playing that many minutes, it might be hard to do that for the whole game. But we understand that when it's the last couple minutes, no matter how long you could have played 40 minutes, if it's overtime or whatever it is, you need to pull it together play hard for those last couple minutes. And so I think that's probably the biggest thing is just, you know, throughout the game, you're playing a lot of minutes, and then at the end, you just realize, like, okay, you know, it's only a couple minutes, just get it together and, you know, worry about the fatigue another time.